Okay, so this is, again, I want to tell you, this is not an anti-men thing. Where do men learn not to value women? From their parents, from educators, from society in general. So really, we don't need men to shift their ideas. We don't need women to shift their ideas. We need a whole big, massive, global mind shift to change the way that we perceive women. So this is one man's viewpoint. I want to share with you now a woman's view. And this is Sheryl Sandberg. She's the COO of Facebook, Chief Operating Officer of Facebook. And she tells a story, again at TED Women Conference, about how she and a friend of hers and her brother were all taking a philosophy course. And the two women studied like mad. They read all the books, they went to all the classes, and the brother, meanwhile, he was busy doing other things. He read one of the books. He attended half the classes. And then the night before the exam, he went to the young women's room to get tutored. How many of you are students? Any students? Okay, so you know all about this, right? The night before the exam, you cram everything in. You try to learn everything in one night. That's what happened. And the next day...
And we walk out and we look at each other and we say, how'd you do? And Carrie says, boy, I feel like I didn't really draw out the main point on the Hegelian dialectic. And I say, God, I really wish I had really connected John Locke's theory of property, the philosophers that follow. And my brother says, I got the top grade in the class. You got the top grade in the class? You don't know anything. The problem with these stories is that they show what the data shows. Women systematically underestimate their own abilities. If you test men and women and you ask them questions on totally objective criteria like GPAs, men get it wrong slightly high and women get it wrong slightly low. Women do not negotiate for themselves in the workforce. A study in the last 2 years of people entering the workforce out of college showed that 57% of boys entering, or men I guess, are negotiating their first salary, and only 7% of women. And most importantly, men attribute their success to themselves and women attribute it to other external factors. If you ask men why they did a good job, they'll say, I'm awesome. If you ask, obviously, why are you even asking? If you ask women why they did a good job, what they'll say is someone helped them, they got lucky, they worked really hard.
Okay, so we've got this imbalance. The root cause, in my view, of the imbalance is that men undervalue women and women undervalue women. What is the result of this? Well, I want to give you two examples. I'll go back here. I'll give you two examples, one on a societal level and one on an individual level. On the societal level, the example I want to use is India. Maybe a couple of decades ago, technology became available that would allow people to determine the sex of their child, their unborn child. And what's happened since then is that many unborn girl children have been aborted. Their pregnancies terminated. So that in India, the number of children between the age of 0 and 6 years old has gone down, per 1,000 male children, has gone down to 915. So for every 1,000 boy children, there are only 915 girls. This is what the graph looks like. And the situation is similar in China. I just read a report yesterday that said that there are 32 million Chinese men, boys under the age of 20, that have no matching girls. So there are 32 million more boys under the age of 20 than there are girls. Now, if we have this, if this continues, we're going to have big problems. And in case you think this imbalance doesn't affect you, it does, because we're all interconnected. We've seen what happened with the recession the last few years. You have a tsunami in Japan. It affects all of us. So this kind of imbalance is dangerous. It's not something that we should be paying attention to and making change around. So the next story I want to share you is on an individual level. Sheryl Sandberg talked about the fact that women undervalue and underestimate their own abilities. This example I want to use is from a coaching session I did last week. I helped the speakers at TEDx Ramallah prepare for their presentations. And I coached one woman who is a full-time activist. And she was, in talking about what she was going to speak about, we were discussing what she does. She told me about a video. She said, I've done this video, and it was a Korean guy captured me on film as I was doing a protest, and it was really, it's nothing special, it's not out of the ordinary. She said she just happened to mention that it also got 2 million views on YouTube. I said, 2 million views? Must be something to this video. Here's the video.
그런데 이때 한 팔레스타인 처녀가 총구를 막아섰다.
Kids, don't you understand that? You're shooting at kids.
군인은 당황했다.
Why are you shooting at them? Why are you shooting at them?
맨몸으로라도 이스라엘 군의 총격을 막겠다는 후에이다의 결의. 그리고 잠시 후 몸을 던진 필사적인 노력으로 작은 평화를 얻기도 쉽지 않다. 이것이 이 땅의 냉정한 현실이다.
How many of you think that was brave? Yeah. She thinks nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary, because there's a huge disconnect, and I see this all the time. This is an extreme case and a blatant case. But believe me, I run into women all the time who don't measure their own value in the way that we should be doing it. Okay, so we know that there's an imbalance, we know the root, these are the results. What to do about it? I think that there are 3 things. Here's what we're trying to achieve, 50-50% balance. Here's where we are. We've got the government imbalance, we've got the media imbalance, we've got the TED stages imbalance. By the way, do you think, all of you, that women have just as many ideas we're spreading as men do? Put your hand up if you think that. More ideas! Okay, so if you all think that women have just as many good ideas, then why aren't there just as many women as men up here on the stage? So what do? The solutions are, number 1, awareness. And I hope that this talk has maybe given you a bit of a different view of, that you see the world from maybe a little bit from a feminist point of view. And that it shifted your mind just a little bit. The kinds of solutions that we need, so awareness is 1. Number 2, we need to take action. When you see an imbalance, try to make change around it. And what that means is having young women like the ones that are going to be presenting this afternoon up on TED stages. They're sitting right here, and their talks are going to be absolutely awesome. We need women role models like this one, who went to Elham Al-Qasimi, as you know, who was the first Emirati woman, first Arab woman to go to the North Pole. I posted her story on my website, and I got feedback from young girls, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, saying things like, I have a dream, I want to go to space. I want to be an astronaut. And I didn't think that I could do it. But now I know that I can because I saw Elham, what she's done. And they're going to see what these young women have done. We need more women role models on the stage. And the reason why we need them is because we're all in the boat together. And if we're not all contributing, we won't be able to navigate these stormy seas. You know, even the... No, I'm not saying this. Noah. The guy who built the ark. The man who built the ark. He brought the animals on 2 by 2. He just didn't have the male animals come on the ark. No. 2 by 2 they came. Men, women, we have to work together. And if we don't address this gender imbalance, in my view, we're going to miss the boat entirely. Thank you.